Hello and welcome back to On a Storyteller's Night. I'm Nathan, joined as always by my co-host Josh.
Hello.
So how you been the past week?
So yeah, I've been doing a lot of Resident Evil HD remastered, not HD remastered, director's cut.
Director's cut, yeah.
Over the course of 3 days, I finished it, taking like an hour and less than an hour each time I played it. But I've played it again. I'm not going to give spoilers on the first proper recording sessions for the ending. I'm going to say that I'm playing it again just so I know a little bit more about it and remember the different paths at the end with different scenarios. I've beaten my time by an entire hour. So
Cool.
Already played it twice and I've beaten my time as Chris by an entire hour. So I'm chuffed about that.
Oh, that's not too bad then. Cool.
I've binge watched all of Invincible in about 3 days.
We started watching them with Jack the other day when he was over, but just didn't really get into it as much. It's just not as good as the previous series. The animation's a bit shit, and it was just a bit. We didn't really watch much of it, so we've still got loads to catch up on.
Yeah, I'm highly enjoying it. The new season of The Boys dropped today as well.
Yeah, I've been watching with Jack's over.
Currently, yeah, I've got about 10-15 minutes left of the second episode, and that pretty much
massive pause then.
Other than that, nothing much.
Yeah, I don't know how well this is going to work because you keep pausing. There was a massive pause of about 5 or 6 seconds in. So hopefully
we'll see.
It works. We'll see.
What about you?
We'll see. Busy as usual. When I get time off, I never seem to spend any of it at home. So I'm doing family stuff for Easter and then going to Costco and had to go over to Bridgend and a few other bits. So I'm taking the car to the garage today and I'm having to walk back because it's about 40-minute walk from my house. I do that this morning and then some other stuff and helping Jack. It's just like, I've not been home. So I've managed to do a little bit of recording. So I finished Baby Steps the other day, which I feel quite like achievement, that is. There's one really hard bit I didn't do. I managed to bypass it. And another really hard bit I bypassed as well. So I was quite pleased with that. So that was quite good. Still playing Resident Evil because I just haven't had time. And I'm playing Alaska Gold Fever because that gets released on the 14th. So luckily I've got a Steam key early. So I've been playing that as well. And now they've just dropped a new update on No Man's Sky today. All of a sudden, like they always do. They put an emoji on Twitter. Then a couple of days later, they release it. And the emoji was an arena, like a stadium. And everyone's like, what's that? Well, think like Pokemon.
You can abduct creatures from their home planets and use them to fight.
Yeah, but the arena you use, right? You know the 3D chess table on the Millennium Falcon? That's what it looks like.
Interesting.
So I'm going to have to play that. But the update's so much fun because you can just step into it and just play the update.
Yeah.
So it's worth doing just to get, because you always get a couple of little extra bits and pieces as well. So it's quite fun. It's something just kind of drop into, and it's just basically like a tutorial that teaches you all about the new mechanics and stuff's going on. So it should be quite interesting. So I'll have to play that as well. God, things to play. So many. But better than nothing to play, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
So not too bad. So anyway, today's episode, I thought I'd go back to what we did 2 weeks ago. We were talking about Resident Evil and the new version and fan casting and stuff like that. So I thought, why don't we take a look at adaptations that have already been done and discuss the people who have played the parts, especially if there have been several versions of it. Which actors do we think embodied the role best and that sort of thing?
Okay, are we going Resident Evil again, or are we going?
No, just everything. Because Resident Evil, no, because that we've
done a fair bit recently.
And considering they just cocked up all the old Resident Evil, and there was only a couple of characters they actually kept, and it's just like I don't really count those as adaptations. They were a different timeline and a different type of Resident Evil, I think. Although, speaking of that, have you heard about the new film? What they're saying about it?
Yeah, it's apparently confusing with the pacing because it's either you're relying on the action and the suspense, or you're relying too much on the horror and the pacing's wrong with those two
They
pacing.
compare it to Fury Road, but zombies. I'm like,
No, I don't want
just
to watch
just
that. I saw that too. I don't want
just
that.
make a bloody Resident Evil movie. We don't want to see all the others. But anyway, I'm going to share my screen, and you'll see what. So, I've picked a classic one that has had so many different people play the part. It is absolutely ridiculous. Could you guess what it is? Based on a very famous book series. It's one of my favorites. That has had so many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23,
How
24,
many adaptations?
26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 9, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. There's 51 people that have kind of played the role in different ways, either as like a little cameo or as a full movie and things like that. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Very, very famous character, British character.
Sherlock Holmes.
Indeed, Sherlock Holmes. So let me
I had
share my screen.
Nosferatu in my head. Like they use a British. Like nah, nah. I was gonna say Doctor Who though. So
Yeah,
close to
that's
say
not
Doctor
an adaptation though, is it? That's
Who.
a TV.
Uh,
Look at all the people. Look at it
Will
all.
Ferrell.
Yeah, he did a joke one on it, Holmes and Watson, him and John C. Riley.
All right, fair
They did
enough.
a comedy one, so we'll ignore that one because no. Johnny Lee Miller Elementary will also ignore stupid Americanized shite. Don't want to know about that. Where they reinvented it and tried to make it modern and different. And yeah, that no, 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 no.
Oh my god, I forgot Christopher Plummer did it as well. There's a lot of big names there that I didn't realize. Like I knew Michael Caine, I knew Ian McKellen, Christopher Lee, and everyone up top.
Cool. John Cleese, but that's a comedy version. There are just so many. Peter Cook, Hound of the Baskervilles, Peter O'Toole. There's just so many different versions of it. It's ridiculous. But go again. You went again then. Yeah, you keep getting a bit voice syncs a bit down. Yeah, no. So if you've seen much Sherlock Holmes, as I said I'm a big fan of the books, so I quite enjoy Sherlock Holmes. Which is your favorite version? If you've seen many of them.
Oh, my. See, I'm not a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes. I've seen as much as I can, not as much as I would
Mm,
want to. Um,
yeah.
I, the no-brainers that I've seen is obviously ones that we've had forth down our throats, which is Robert Downey Jr., Henry Cavill, and Benedict Cumberbatch as of recent. But for me, it is between Christopher Lee or Ian McKellen, and just for being my first one, it is Ian McKellen. He was the
Mm,
first Sherlock Holmes I knew and heard, and I'm like, no, he's Gandalf as well. He's Magneto. Around the time I was experimenting with my films and trying to figure out what I liked and what I
mm.
didn't like, and Ian McKellen stood out like a sore thumb. So it's Ian McKellen for me.
For me, it's Jeremy Brett. He
Yeah,
was unbelievable. It was a TV show back when I was growing up, and for me, he will always be Sherlock Holmes. Henry Cavill can go jump. He's not Sherlock Holmes. Not even close to being Sherlock Holmes. This is a ridiculous TV show. Like the hell that can go away. Robert Downey Jr. is much better than Henry Cavill at Sherlock Holmes. Henry Cavill is not what Sherlock Holmes should be. He shouldn't be that kind of person. That's just no, it's ridiculous. Robert Downey Jr. I think did a good version of it, and I'm looking forward to the new one that they're doing. I think the
yeah,
relationship between him and Jude Law, I think, worked really well. The chemistry those two have got was absolutely brilliant, and that's what worked for me. But I think Benedict Cumberbatch did a really good version of Sherlock as well. It's updated. They used some of the original stories, but updated them and changed like the titles for new modern titles. And I thought it's a really good kind of reimagining, but keeping the core of what Sherlock Holmes is.
yeah,
Me, I thought it was really good. Like when they did the Hound of the Baskervilles, they all updated it, and it was about the military experiments and all that kind of thing. So I think it worked really well. Peter Cushing, obviously brilliant at Sherlock Holmes as well. He's brilliant at everything. Christopher Lee, trouble is, I always see Christopher Lee more of a bad guy than a good guy. So it's difficult to see him in the role of Sherlock Holmes. Ian McKellen, it wasn't really Sherlock Holmes as such, it was Mr. Holmes. It wasn't really kind of Sherlock Holmes in the way I'd see Sherlock Holmes, like a Sherlock Holmes movie. It's more kind of about it rather than a Sherlock Holmes kind of murder mystery type of thing, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
but for me, that was the first
That was your
Sherlock
first
Holmes I
introduction,
saw.
yeah.
Yeah,
I read all the books years ago because I'm a nerd and I read many books like this. So, but yeah, Jeremy Brett. If you ever get a chance to see his show, it's old now because it was obviously 80s, but he was absolutely brilliant. He was absolutely fantastic. And I said, Will Farrell can just go jump. Tom Baker is good in everything. I love Tom Baker. He's one of my favorites because he's my doctor. Now, he's the doctor who I
yeah.
grew up with. I've got the scarf. Finally, I had to wait until I was in my late 40s to get the bloody scarf I wanted when I was a kid, but I've got it, and it's like 14-foot long. Ridiculous multicolored scarf. Yeah, 14-foot long wool scarf. It's just like, oh, it's crazy. But yeah. So there you go. So that's the first one. Sherlock Holmes. And you know what I did? I didn't actually share the screen. So let me quickly share it now. I'm an idiot. I forgot to press the button to share the screen. So there we go. So there's all the actors. It's just too many things going on. So that's all the actors that we were just talking about. I'll see if I can change the clip for that. Okay, then. How embarrassing, eh? Many things going on. All right. So I've got a shared screen on here, but not on OBS. Right. Do you have a next choice?
I do, and I'm not gonna lie, it might be this one is either I know or you take all of them in account and you actually think like the Sherlock
Right.
Holmes one for those. So I've gone Batman.
Batman, yeah.
Yeah, who I know practically the first page. I know
Yeah.
everyone who's played Batman. We go further down. Yeah, I don't know. So
Yeah, a lot of them are video games and cartoons and that sort of thing, aren't
cartoons
they?
and
So
yeah, everything else, even voiceovers for like books and stuff, like
yeah.
audiobooks. But here's the main guys. Um, I mean, we
It's gonna
can
be
agree.
Kevin, isn't it? You're gonna say it's Kevin. Kevin Conroy.
He is the better Batman and Bruce Wayne
Yeah.
in the animated world. That's animation, gaming,
Video
of
games and
course.
all, yeah.
And I will give him a shout. Kevin Conroy is the best Batman, in my opinion.
He is. There's no two ways about it. He is the best Batman. 100%.
But when it comes to films, I'm always stuck between two.
Mm.
I'm always either Val Kilmer or Adam West.
I say Adam West just because for
Of
me,
what he did.
it was just amazing what he did. And he did treat them as separate people the way, to a certain degree, it was, they were kind of a little bit different, which is what like Michael Keaton is one of my favorites. What he did bringing Batman into the modern day, and he did treat them as two different people. He came up with my most hated thing, the Batman voice. I can't stand that. It's not needed. Adam West didn't need it. Kevin Conroy doesn't need it.
No,
So
he
why
just
does
speaks a little
everybody
bit
else do it?
gravelier.
Yeah, that's
See,
all it's needed.
Kevin Conroy does it more graveler, and
Yeah.
so does Robert Pattinson. He just makes his voice a bit more
Adam
gravelly.
West did to a certain degree, just made his voice that little bit deeper and more authoritative. Is what he did.
Yeah,
But
but I will agree the whole
Christian Bale, my ass. I'm just not a fan of the Dark Knight films at all. The first one is okay in places. The second one does my head in because everyone goes, "Oh my god, it's one of the best movies ever made." No, it drags on. If they just had the Joker, fine. But then you think the film's finished, and then it does a little bit more. And you think, "Oh, good, it's finished." And it goes a little bit more, and it just drags and drags and drags and drags. And the last one with Bane, oh my god, so many problems with that movie. Yeah, Val Kilmer was fun. George Clooney, yeah, well.
he's very forgettable, but he's very well
The
known
only
for
thing you
Batman.
remember about George Clooney is his suit had nipples. I think that's about the only thing anyone ever
Yeah,
remembers, isn't it?
it always diverts my attention every time I watch the George Clooney film. Like,
Oh god, it's just
that's Batman. Is that really Batman's suit? I'm just staring at
yeah.
a pair of nips.
But what do you think of the new Batman?
What, Robert Pattinson?
No, 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 no. The one they've just announced, haven't they? You've not seen it?
Oh, the Brave and the Bold. I I'm going to do the same to what I did to Marvel for DC. I'm going to let the entire first catalog come out.
Hmm.
'Cause I did not when Marvel started with Hulk, Captain America, and Iron Man. I didn't bother. I really didn't bother until Avengers when the first phase ended, and I
Yeah.
didn't know it was the first phase. I just knew Avengers big, big, big. Went to
Hmm.
watch all of them, and I enjoyed it. And that's what I'm going to do with the new DCU. I'm just going to wait until the whole first catalog's out, watch the entire first catalog. So I'm going to reply with the future's looking bright.
But what do you
No,
think of the casting for Batman?
the casting, I don't know the cast. I've stayed away from it.
Oh, because it's somebody that's already played Batman as voice.
Let me have a look.
From what I've seen, it could be bullshit, but you know what the internet's like. But I have seen it, and they've
Have
announced it.
they
And
got
apparently, James Gunn has announced it.
it isn't Diedrich Bader, is it?
No, no, no,
No,
no,
because
no,
I
no.
know he's in.
Who's the one person that gets floated around more than anybody to be Batman? More than anybody. This is on that list there.
Oh no.
He's in another TV show where he sometimes wears a mask and sometimes doesn't. At the moment,
Am I?
that you're watching.
Oh, Jansen Ackles. Yes.
Yes, him. Brave and the Bold Batman.
Well, there we go. I'm actually not upset about that because he actually is. I can see him as Batman now that
Yeah,
I've just watched the boys. I see him as Batman. Yeah.
I think that'll be quite good. So that I think that's really cool. I quite like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. But yeah, you can understand with me in the DCU. I'm waiting for it to breathe, so when I watch it, I've got enough to consume, and then make
Yeah.
my honest opinion on whether the DC is worth it for me anymore
Mm,
or it's not.
yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie, after the Zack Snyder verse, it was a bit ropes. I still don't know if I like that
Yeah.
whole aspect. I'm just happy with what John Cena's Peacemaker's done, and just
I haven't actually watched Peacemaker, to be honest, because it's
neither.
not available on kind of normal streaming.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I've just seen clips.
Let's have a look.
Anyhow, yeah, Batman for my favorite Batman for me is Kevin Conroy.
Right, let me see if I can get this one working. Oh, that's no bird. Right, I'm just trying to get a good page up for it. We'll have a look. So the next one on my list is based on a video game,
Okay.
Super Mario. We've had several adaptations,
Yeah.
but what do you think of them? Also, you may not remember the first one. There was a cartoon years ago. Did you ever see that?
I don't know. I am. If you're trying to share your screen, nothing's come up. But
No,
no.
not yet. I'm just
All right.
trying to get something good.
Well, I don't know if I have or not.
All right, because this is the odd thing. I may have to show this. So they did a cartoon, but before every cartoon, they had a live action segment with Mario and Luigi. And then it went into the cartoon.
Okay.
So let me see if I can share this and see if this works right. Let's have a look. All right, so this is a little bit of this. Let's see if this works, shall we?
It's a good idea to have check-in rules to follow when you come home from school or
That's
play
Mario.
or your parents aren't there. You should either call your parents at work or a neighbor and let them know you're home safe. Ask your mom or your dad whom you should call and have the number handy by the phone so you can call as soon as you get in. Check it out.
That
Check
was
in
Mario, and there is a
important.
Luigi as well.
Believe me.
Let's talk
I want those 30 seconds. No.
No, you have to see Luigi as well.
I want those 30 seconds
Look.
back.
No, watch.
Paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. Your sink is in trouble.
But do you recognize Mario? Do you know who he is? Captain Lou Albano. He was a wrestler back in the day.
I didn't notice him whatsoever.
All right, I'll stop it there. But yeah, so this
8
is
bloody minutes.
what's that?
And this intro better not be 8 bloody fucking minutes.
No, this is a whole episode.
8 minutes for it, mind you, that makes sense.
It may not be the whole episode, but it'd be a certain amount. How much is it? Yeah, so it's got all the intro stuff with them talking, and then some of the cartoon bit. Oh, we won't watch it all. I won't put you through that, but yeah, you have to just see the beginning of it. It's just this is what we had to put up with when I was a kid.
We interrupt this radio program for a news flash. World-famous singer Cyndi Lauper announced today that world-famous wrestler Captain Lou Albano is missing. Repeat, Lou Albano is missing.
Oh boy, I don't believe it.
Yo, Mario, take it easy. I mean, I know Captain Lou Albano was your hero and role
Half of
model.
it is him, and he was obviously in
Turn up.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun
Oh,
video.
so
He
he
was
was the
playing
nicest guy in
Cyndi
the
Lauper's dad
world.
in that
Yeah.
film. So, but that's where that comes from. So that was the first iteration of the Super Mario Brothers. But it's still better than the first movie.
I will give you that because the first movie is a very, very one of those wipe from memory movies.
Oh, you don't remember that?
No, I said it's one
Oh,
of
you don't
the
remember it? Oh.
I never said that.
I know, but it's an excuse to find it.
Oh,
We've looked at that one, so we may have to. So movie trailer. We'll only watch like a minute of it. Oh, come on, no, 1993. Yeah, it was 1993.
I remember this film so horribly wrong.
It was just nothing to do with
nothing
Super Mario
at all. Yeah, it was not right.
I won't go full screen. So it won't even go full screen. Like, what is this? The Goombas. Look at those. Why hasn't Luigi even got a mustache? Like, oh my god, it's just that's enough of that before we see King Koopa. Oh my god, it's just but this is what they thought they could do with video games, just let's just make something and use the names. And that's the whole thing we had about Resident Evil the other week, isn't it? It's just it's just shocking. And now they've gone back and done, let's do a 3D cartoon instead and use Chris Pratt. Just no. Why?
The silence is deafening and that sigh is heavy.
And it's just why Chris Pratt, other than he's popular for some reason. I don't know why. But I'm just fed up with the guy, to be honest. He's annoying.
Mate, this is not shit on actors this week. Let's talk about good actors this week.
So who should play Mario?
Apparently, a man who's from Italian descent, who lives in Chicago, has a plumbing job, and he's Japanese.
Yeah, but what actor would you put in the role? Is there any, or is it better off being animated? Should we avoid live action?
Oh yeah, with Mario, absolutely, definitely.
It doesn't make sense. Does it?
No. The only one that could work in, I think, is Donkey Kong. From that universe, it's Donkey Kong. I think Donkey Kong could actually work, but everything else in that universe, nah. Hell, Sonic has done surprisingly well, but then again, that's animated.
Yeah, but I still think there's a bunch of bullshit surrounding the first movie. When they released those first trailers with the awful looking Sonic, I think that was bullshit. They'd already made the good Sonic, and they released it with the scary Sonic just to get publicity and then go, look, we fixed it for the fans. Bullshit. There's no way they did that quick.
I'm on the other side of the spectrum with this conversation.
They were too
I'm more
quick
like,
getting it
we,
fixed.
the world bullied a company, and they like
Is-
hands up.
There's no
The thing
way.
is, this isn't the first time it's happened. It happened with Toy Story 2.
Mm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it did happen to Toy Story 2, and they had 3 months to change the animation, and they did it. 3 months.
Yeah, but there
and
was
they didn't delay.
it just seemed there was too much, and it was suddenly too perfect. You know, it's just I don't trust the studio enough. To
Hold
go
up, you're right.
with it.
You're right.
It was just they went from horrifying to absolutely perfect in a very short space of time without releasing and going, "Is this okay?" Going, look, and it was all suddenly there,
You're
all together and
100%
all
correct.
perfect.
You are 100% correct there. Oh my lord.
Because don't forget the whole dynamics of the way he looked changes, the size, everything changed about him. So it just made no sense when they went, look, we've suddenly fixed it in this short space of time. No, they had it ready. They only made the trailer with the shit one. They didn't make the whole movie with the shit one. It's only a trailer. That's what I reckon.
But to answer the entire question overall, I'm gonna have to say Chris Pratt's the best one.
Why didn't they use the actual voice actor?
Mm.
That leads on to other things we could mention about live action adaptations where they don't use the original voice actors. That's still.
Oh, I know one that
Kills
really
me.
gets under your skin there.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so Super Mario should stay, and
I think it should stay.
I still
animated,
haven't watched the movie yet, the new one.
Well, I'm gonna watch it on Friday with my little brother. He really wants to go, so I'm looking forward for it.
Yeah, it's getting a whole new audience, and you know, Jack Black's getting too into his. I want to be in every video game adaptation. It's just like he wants to be in everything now. It's just like, come on, really? You're going to be in at least like try harder and not look just like yourself, like Steve in Minecraft. Like there's nothing like Steve.
No.
What the hell? Yeah, that was weird. I love Jack Black, but it's kind of getting annoying now. And he wants to be in Red Dead 3. Is his plan because there is a character in that era called Jack Black that he wants to play. And it's just like, he just wants to be in everything.
Agreed. He's becoming the Rock. I'm going to be honest, he's becoming the Rock where you turn to your left and you see a film, you blink in front of you, there's another film. You turn to your right, you've got an entire catalogue.
But he wants to, because he's well known
I heard
for
that
gaming.
track, by the way.
Yeah, because he's kind of well known for gaming. Even though his gaming channel isn't big and he doesn't ever post on it much, he doesn't actually do a lot of gameplay, which confuses the hell out of me. He's supposed to be this big gamer, but he doesn't game. I don't know. It seems a bit odd.
He's probably like most people. They don't show their face and they just play for pleasure. They game for pleasure.
But he's got a gaming channel that people go, he's got this gaming channel. When was the last time? I wonder when the last time was.
Which is why I said he games for pleasure. He
Yeah.
doesn't do it for entertainment like us. He does it for pleasure in his spare time, which I used to do before I met you, and I've been forsaken and sworn ever since.
Yeah. We can't all be Henry Cavill, can we?
No.
Right, go on then. What's your next pick?
Oh, you're gonna like this one, Bosh. Dracula.
Oh, there are a few choices and a few awful ones.
Precisely. That's
Morgan Freeman.
I know. I saw it earlier.
What?
We'll double check that after. The electric something, CO something.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Jack Palance is good. Frank Langella was really good. Udo Kieri's sometimes good.
Right, I'm just going to say it now. I love the actor, but it's the worst Dracula, Luke Evans. I love
But
Luke
he's
Evans.
now got a really good role that I really want to see, and I'm not going to be able to, and it pisses me off.
What?
He's now Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror Picture Show on Broadway.
Oh, okay.
Then that is perfect because it's something he's got a big interest in as well. He did it when he was in school and so on. So it's the perfect. That'll be absolutely brilliant. He looks good in the part. He can sing. We know he can sing.
Oh God, yeah. Luke Evans can do a lot.
Oh, he was Gaston as well, wasn't he? And he did really well as Gaston. So it's like it'll be perfect as Frankenfurter, but it's only Broadway, so it's like not gonna see it. America only, one place. Like, for God's sake,
However, who's your favorite Dracula?
Dracula. It's got to be Gary Oldman. I have a love hate Christopher Lee in a different way. So Christopher Lee is Dracula, but Hammer Horror Dracula is a different entity.
Yeah.
Whereas because it doesn't have any kind of coherence with Bram Stoker's Dracula, like the original character. Gary Oldman kind of does, but also doesn't. It's one of those things. And Bela Lugosi is, it's like I've got favorite Draculas for different periods and different types of things. So Bela Lugosi is like the original, amazing. I thought he was absolutely brilliant as a part. He's brought a lot of what people see as Dracula and vampires is because of him.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee was in a different way, and it was Hammer Horror, so that was a different kind of entity itself. Gary Oldman, I love his performance in Dracula. The film itself, I hate and I love in equal amounts. Keanu Reeves should never have been in that movie. His English accent was awful. Van Helsing, played by Anthony Hopkins, was brilliant. There were some really good casting choices. Carrie Elways was brilliant in it. There were some really, really good people, but the actual film itself is so badly flawed, and it just kind of annoys me. Really, really, really annoys me in many ways. There's continuity areas. It's the whole tragic love story thing that annoys me. And now they've done a new version, a French one, that has basically followed that. And as I said before, Bram Stoker's Dracula, the movie, is loosely based on the book in some ways, but more based on Nosferatu, which is a film that was banned by the Stoker family because they ripped off Dracula. And the new Nosferatu movie is just ripped off of Dracula, which was ripped off Nosferatu. It's just, it makes no sense. Dracula is not a tragic love story where he goes to find Mina. And no, he's not. He's a rapist and a murderer. He's a monster. That's the whole point of what he is. And it's like, oh, he's so tragic. No, he's not. He's a monster. But so there's a few others I'll say I really like. Leslie Nielsen in Dracula Dead and Loving It. Fantastic. Completely different kind of Dracula, but that was brilliant. And Renfield in that was just spot on. He was amazing. And to be honest, George Hamilton is brilliant in Love at First Bite. That was one of my all-time favorite movies. It's weird because he has a bigger tan than any other Dracula I've ever seen. That guy is like tanned and like bright, shiny white teeth. But that movie was a comedy, but it was so good when I was growing up. Just so good, so good.
See, for me, it's Christopher Lee. It is my favorite adaptation. Obviously, I love the Nosferatu original film. I've seen that a lot of times, not as much as you, obviously.
I've got several versions of it. I've got one where they replaced all the soundtrack with typo negative tracks.
That's interesting.
Which is quite cool.
Yeah, that's quite cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, I've even got the Nosferatu figure over there that gets sunburned when you put it in the sun. It's like crazy.
Yeah, mine's Christopher Lee, 100%.
Yeah. It's Christopher Lee is always good. And my Van Helsing will always be Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
As much as I love Anthony Hopkins, Peter Cushing is just, he's that guy, isn't he? Gerard Butler was okay in Dracula 2000. The follow-up was shit, but that was okay. Richard Roxburgh can go and jump off a cliff for that. And Van Helsing was awful. To be honest, Nicolas Cage was quite good in Renfield. I really enjoyed that movie. I didn't really see him as Dracula, but as a vampire in that kind of weird comedy, I thought that worked quite well.
All I'm going to say is, quickly, for one person that we haven't really talked about much on this list is Adam Sandler. He's done very well.
I love that. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love Hotel Transylvania.
He's actually done very well with Dracula
really
there.
Yeah. No, he was really, really good. I do like that one. They do keep saying about they're going to do a live action one, but they can only do it with the original cast. You can't change the cast, can you? But yeah, he's good. He's brilliant.
All right. Well, your turn again, mate.
I have to think of another one. I got too into Dracula then. It's like... Okay, let's go for this one before you do it.
I swear to God, we got for the same one. No, okay.
Transformers. So,
See, I will say before the Batman one, I was thinking this one. They're like, nah, it's too obvious. So let's
it
go.
is.
Which,
So obviously
which
there's new
direction are you
characters.
going to go down?
But it's like, obviously there's new characters that weren't in the original Transformers. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's what it kind of is. But if they
Huh.
hadn't had Peter Cullen at all, it would have been dreadful.
Oh
But
god, yeah.
Hugo Weaving, why? Why?
I still think he did pretty well. I'll die on this hill.
Yeah, but then the video game, he didn't voice it. You know who
because
voiced Megatron in the
Hugo
video
Weaving
game?
doesn't like stuff like that.
Yeah, but who voiced the Megatron in the video game?
Absolutely no clue.
Frank. He did the voice for the video game, but not fucking movies. What? Yeah, that is just disgusting.
How deny that how did that not click with me so much sooner? You're 100% correct.
Yeah, and I am. That's what pissed me off about the
I've
movies
played-
and why I hate the movies.
I've
'Cause they
played both
did
of
that
the
to him.
games. The
Yeah, they
PS2
did
games.
that to
yeah,
him.
I played them both.
They got Hugo
No.
bloody Weaving to do Megatron. He wouldn't do the video game because he's too high and mighty for that shit. So they got Frank back to do it, but wouldn't let him do it in the movie because his name's not big enough, and they wanted Hugo bloody Weaving, who I love and I think is a great actor. Love him in Lord of the Rings and Matrix and everything else, and Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and everything else he's done. Yeah, I think he's a great actor, but
Yeah,
that just annoys me.
I think he's still a great Megatron. I stand
He
on
did,
this
but
hill.
why when we've got a Megatron? It didn't
I
need to
can
replace
agree.
Megatron.
I can heavily agree, but then again, I really enjoyed Hugo Weaving.
He was good, but he wasn't Megatron for me. It's just Megatron talks. You know, it's like I said, if they had replaced Optimus Prime, this would be a different conversation, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
I wouldn't be a Transformers fan because I watched G1 before these, and I knew Peter Cullen's voice. But that it's like watching Invincibles. I'm like, oh my god, there's no way. Like, I'm hearing voices, and I'm there like, I know that voice so much.
That's one thing that annoys me about Invincible. They've spent way too much on guest stars and not enough on the animation. They've rushed the animation so much to get each series out. They haven't spent enough on it. And each series, you can see the animation gets worse and worse and worse. And they even pointed it out in the show when they were talking about that Cosmic Dog or whatever his name was. And they went, oh, yeah, they do these tricks to cut down. It's like, yeah, we know because it looks crap now compared to how it did. And it's just a bit samey. It's a bit annoying. But overall, what do you think of like the cast and what they did with the Transformers compared to like the cartoons and that sort of thing?
Right, let me preach because my sister.
How much time have we got left?
Right, I'm saying that because my sister recently bought me a Optimus Prime from the Bay films that are pop outs like Warhammer, and you glue them together, and it's electric as well. I've got a G1 mouth typing pad, whatever. So when it comes to Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen is Peter Cullen, Magnifico. Megatron, we know Megatron. Steve is Magnifico. But when it comes to the Bayverse, to G1, to now, I think they did a pretty good job. Michael Bay did a pretty good job. The only thing that I've really hated throughout the entire Transformers films, I'd say up to Bumblebee, before Bumblebee started retconning a bit of stuff. So I'll just say to Age of The Last Night. Why? And I know it's a common trope in films and films franchises. Big mysterious object that holds the mightiest of powers. Second film, it's all forgotten, and you've got a brand new one. Third film, you got a little hint of it from the second film, but then a new one. Fourth film, everything's gone. Besides the thing from the second film, which is the Matrix and leadership. Once Optimus Prime gets to Matrix, he's got the Matrix. But when it comes to The Last Night, it's almost like nothing ever existed.
That is one of the worst things about all of it. And the amount they changed. It's like, you expect Bumblebee to be a Beetle. Why was he suddenly a Camaro? It just made no sense. So I did enjoy the Bumblebee movie for that reason. And they obviously I tried to retcon it all, but
See, when it comes to Transformers 2007, they got the cast perfect. Megan Fox, obviously. Shia LaBeouf, Josh Doomhall, John Toretto. Yeah, they've got the cast pretty nailed on there, because the first film is known for its cast and how well the cast did, because it was brand new cast and some big names, and they just smashed them together, threw bullshit at the wall, and it worked. From there, it went a bit up and down, didn't it? So you've got like Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon.
do you know my problem with the Transformers movies? Too many fucking humans.
Agreed. That's obvious.
You
I
look
don't
at
need to say it.
G1 Transformers and movies. How many actual people were in it?
Not a lot.
Spike and Daniel.
Mate, I was more attached and focused watching the first 12 minutes of Bumblebee than I was watching Bumblebee. I was watching the first 12 minutes, like, this is what we needed. This is what we needed.
Yeah,
A
that's
live
the
action
trouble.
Transformers on Cybertron.
Yeah. And then they made this movie, and it was about the people. It wasn't about the Transformers. It's about Sam Witwicky and all that. It's just
The
why?
Witwickens and how the planet has always been.
No,
It
annoys me.
I love these films so much, but when we get to the last night, it sticks out like a sore thumb. You have the old spark, and it landed on Earth, and because of where it landed, the Hoover Dam was built around it, and then all of the human technology came from the knowledge of the old spark. That's fine. That makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's a nice way to do it.
Second film, the Pyramids of Giza, is actually the Decepticons and the primes, the ancient primes, building over their planet and star destroyers. It's like, you know what, kind of makes sense too. And you've got a key to activate it, the Matrix of Leadership. That makes sense. Third film, The Pillars, that makes sense. Transforming planets and gates and portals. Then we've got The Seed, which I quite liked. You can infect the entire area of Cybertronium metal. You can mine that metal and make new Transformers. Last night, so we have all these planet-based things: the Allspark, the Matrix Leadership, the Pyramids, the Seed, and so on and so forth. Right? Get to last night, all of that is void and null, because you know who is planet Earth. We have got Ultron. I almost said Ultron.
I know. I was going to say.
We have Unicron on planet Earth, who is actually Unicron. Planet Earth is Unicron. So all of these plots and main story narrative vocal points that Michael Bay put in the films are all of a sudden useless. Like, why did Earth need the Allspark if Cybertronians were already a part of Earth?
This is what I don't get: is why did they bother changing the storyline? Transformers, robots in disguise. They're in disguise so nobody knows about them. They went to Earth. The Optimus and the other Autobots went to Earth to get away from Megatron, because they're part of the rebellion and so on, to try and escape Cybertron and get more energon, because they run out on their home planet and they wanted more energy, blah, blah, blah. That's why they came to Earth, and they found like Spike and his dad that helped them and so on. So that all made sense. And that was good. But why did they have to change the whole storyline? That they've been there, you know, there's the Allspark, there's this. So why is the planet Unicron? It makes no sense. Unicron should be out there.
That's the bit where most Michael Bay Transformer film fans lost interest. Like, you've had all of these big events, planetary and non-planetary, human events and Transformer events, and all of a sudden you wipe all of that to the void because you want Unicron to be planet Earth. It just spat on all the films prior, and I'm telling you now, if Last Night was never made and we'd left it at Age of Extinction to where Optimus Prime left and the Autobots found a new home on Earth and they stayed in disguise like it was said at the end, perfect ending. But no, they had to make The Last Night because Paramount was
money.
Yeah, Paramount was shoving money down everyone's throat and said
they would have been much better off making a live action version of Transformers the movie.
Do you know what? If, mate, again, going back to the Resident Evil one, Paramount, we know what the fans want.
You have to do like Arrival from Cybertron should do a movie of that, and a few other little stories to build up towards Transformers a movie, so you get to know the characters, because they introduce whole new characters in Transformers a movie.
Yeah,
Loads of new characters.
We can even go to the extent where we can do like these gaps in between episodes in G1. If you could fill out those gaps, where you look at the story, fill out the gap with the story needed, make it as canon as possible, go straight into the film, make the live action film, and then you've got Buck. But that's the thing, Buck. That's the key word, money. Paramount want the money, Hasbro want the money, and yet they are removing the gaming side
But
of
that's why, to make the money on Transformers, you need Transformers. You don't want action figures as Sam Witwicky.
Oh,
Why would you want that? I know you want an action figure of Megan Fox, but that's a different kind of action figure, let's be honest. But
no, you got it right. Sorry.
you and your real dolls. But it's
I'm
just...
definitely not blowing up the doll in the specific area.
Oh god. But that's what I don't understand. They want to make money on it. It's a toy. The whole reason of the TV show was to promote a toy. So use the movie to promote more toys. Not have, look how many people there are in it. Like, why? There were 2 people and the odd like background character. There was a lot more obviously in the comics, and there were some strange characters, like the one girl that kind of became half transformed and she was like covered in metal. She was crazy.
Oh, I've read those comics.
I've got them in the cupboard, I think.
Yeah. See, the new Transformers comics are a bit interesting, you know.
I've not looked at them.
Very interesting. I've been reading them up online on an app, and they're good Transformer comics. So I'll send you them and I'll recommend them, 'cause they're very intriguing.
On a slight tangent, while we're talking about things like that, because you just reminded me of something, because I've got obviously a load of old white dwarfs as well in a box, like old ones, old ones, more than Warhammer World have, because you know that's me. What do you think about the stuff they've released so far for Warhammer 40k new edition? Have you looked at any of the stuff, like the new models in the kit, what you get in the box? They're changing a load of rules.
Warhammer is, I don't play it. I haven't played it that much. I've got an army. I've got my knowledge. I don't know that much about it, but I know the appeal, and that's what I pay attention to when it comes to Warhammer: the appeal of fighting aliens on a board or board game or computer game.
But it's looking quite interesting. It's 11th edition. God, I remember when 1 came out. Jesus Christ! But the box set is Space Marines and Orcs, the new box set. So it looks interesting. That was just thought that was.
Now that you mention it, I think I have heard a lot about it from my dad, because he's bought something.
There's been a lot coming, because it's not. I don't think it's released yet, but there's a lot coming out, and they're just releasing bits and pieces of it, and so on. So quite interesting. Well, enough of that one. Do you have another one?
I do, and I don't think it's going to be an argument. I think it's going to be a straight to the point one. 007 himself. Your preferred?
To be honest, it's the one I grew up watching, Roger Moore.
For me, it's Sean Connery.
Sean Connery was good, but there's something about Roger Moore that I just like. Sean Connery's good, but the trouble is Sean Connery is always Sean Connery. Roger Moore, for me, isn't Roger Moore, he's James Bond. That makes sense? Because Sean Connery's done so many other things, I can only ever see him as Sean Connery. Highlander, he's Sean Connery. The Rock, he's Sean Connery, but also a bit James Bond. But Roger Moore, he's always kind of been that character who's in The Saint. Everything he's done, really, he's kind of been a version of James Bond.
Okay.
So it's kind of an odd one, because I can't really easily separate the two in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that argument. I'm going to make an argument for Daniel Craig. He's done superbly.
Daniel Craig was good.
Yeah,
Forget the last one.
Yeah, forget the last one, obviously,
Forget
but
that
for a modern James Bond, it's a very well executed plan.
Casino Royale is one of my favorite movies. The soundtrack,
Devil,
Chris
yeah.
Cornell, everything about that film was brilliant. The torture scene with the knotted rope and all of that, everything about that movie just worked so well. It was a fantastic movie. Really, really good.
However, for me, I'm still sticking with Sean Connery. He is James Bond to me.
He was the
Oh.
first one. Yeah.
He's
Pierce
like
Brosnan, they took things a little bit too far with him, like Goldeneye. I remember seeing that in the cinema when it came out. I was actually in America at the time when it came out, and a whole bunch of us went to the cinema to see it. And the action just got silly. You know, it was getting sillier and sillier with Roger Moore, but it was kind of tongue-in-cheek humor. And then it comes to Pierce Brosnan, and it was just ridiculous. Goldeneye was like, what the hell is he doing now? And it just, they were escalating the action scenes, but not in any kind of realism at all. It's like he's in a tank and he drives through a statue. There's a massive statue then riding on top of the tank. It was like, no, what? No, that was just stupid. Well, forget David Niven. George Lazenby. Yeah, that wasn't great. Timothy Dalton was quite good, but he didn't get much of a chance at it. He was a lot more. I'd compare Timothy Dalton a lot to Daniel Craig.
Okay.
He was very, very gritty, realistic, and a lot darker than the other Bonds. And he's Welsh, so you know, have to give him that as well.
Bonus points there for the 007.
Bonus points, boyo. And obviously, he's been in Doctor Who. He's Lord Vaseline from one of the Time Lords. But he's been in so many things as well. And one of my all-time favorite movies, Flash Gordon with Baron. Oh, he's so good in that as well. But he's really, really good. It'd be interesting to see what they do now with the character.
I've the whole argument with, could James Bond be played by a black Englishman? Could James Bond be played by an American?
No
matter the color. I'm saying no to both. James Bond is one of those most iconic characters on screen, on book, or whatever. One of their most iconic characters to ever be created, and you can't just pluck reality. He is a white man. He loves his women. He loves being a spy. He actually thrives from it.
What they've got to be honest, the best way to do it is go back to the books and set it in the era that the books were set.
Yes.
Don't try to modernize it. Put it back to where it was. And then it makes sense. The womanizing, the spy kind of stuff. You don't need ridiculous new up-to-date gadgets. The old ones, people, there's nostalgia in that.
Here's a theory for you. More of a fan theory. And I've read upon this not too long ago, actually. I'd say Monday I read this, actually. We know the whole Doctor Who and how many doctors there have been, right?
Yeah. That's a very debatable number as well.
Yeah.
I won't go into that.
So we've got the Doctor Who where every so often the Doctor changes. And that's natural for the story. That's natural. For the James Bond world, do you think, look at the films, we've been progressing through time with James Bond. What if the English government that James Bond is a part of actually have backups? Robots.
Well, this is the thing, that you could only say that with the title 007. Because that is a code name for him. But James Bond is a specific person. If they changed it all the time, it would be something different, and then you'd have to just call the film series 007. You couldn't call it James Bond.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would work in quite the same way, because it'd be somebody else trying to act like him. I know they're very different iterations of the character, but they're based loosely on the same kind of thing. So I don't think narratively it works that way. But having different versions of James Bond is fine. Yeah. I don't think we want it where they can change it, because then it's carrying on forever and everyone around him changes and then he changes it, and it's better off almost starting again with another James Bond and having different stories rather than a continuation of that world.
Yeah.
So I think it gets to a point then where there's just like, oh, he's died, get the next one out of the cupboard. And it doesn't bring much to it, because it's just like, oh, we'll have another one if he dies. And it's not quite the same. I think having James Bond as James Bond is different. But when they go, we'll have a female James Bond. No, just have a different 00. You don't need to have James Bond. Make a spin-off with 008, 006. Who cares? If you want, Idris Elba to be the next spy, be 005. Why does everyone have to be 007? Keep James Bond as 007 as he was written in the books, and make loads of TV shows or whatever with all the other 00s if you want to. There's loads of numbers to choose from. You've got 3 digits to play with. You have hundreds of the damn things. You have a gay one, have a black one, have a Chinese one, have whatever you want. It don't matter. It works.
See, for me, James, and this isn't me being controversial or racist or anything like that. I don't mind what happens, but to me, I think James Bond is one of those characters, fictional characters, that have to be white and have to be British.
It's got to be how it was written in the book, is the way I see it. But it's like you look at what they're doing, like Netflix. Have you seen the latest version of Henry VIII?
I have, and I'm not happy.
Gay, black, and disabled.
Gay, black, and disabled. Yeah, nah. We can talk about the new Harry Potter show. Harry Potter is going to be, and his dad, James Potter, are going to be made out to be major racists in this new story.
Well, you look at what they've done now with Severus Snape. In fact, should we talk about that one? Do you want to share that one?
Yeah.
That'd probably be easier, wouldn't it?
So, you definitely spell it wrong. Yeah, I knew it. So we're going new or...
Well, look, you've got both of them there.
Yeah, I do. So Alan Rickman and Papa Siedu.
Yeah. Alan Rickman, you can't. Which I guess they've gone a completely different direction, so you can't easily compare it. But they haven't thought about the actual story. And there's been so much on the internet about it. And you look at just how it is. So Harry Potter goes to Hogwarts, and there's this one teacher he doesn't like the look of and thinks he's trying to steal something. Why is that, Harry? Because he's black. Sorry, Harry, what? Why do you think Snape's going to do that? Because he's black. He's trying to steal something. I don't trust the way he looks.
James Potter bullying Snape because he's hanging out with his white girlfriend.
But that's all of that. I don't like the way he looks.
No.
So you don't like the color of his skin. Yeah, but the worst bit is they hang him in a tree. That's what James Potter does to Snape. You can't do that to a black man. You can't hang him in a tree, for God's sake.
No, I mean...
What are they thinking? You can't. I've got nothing against changing characters when it doesn't matter for the story. But when you've got, they could have changed McGonagall or somebody else, and it wouldn't have mattered.
I mean, there was something that the actor, he said on I've seen it on Instagram. His quote was, he understands it, the reason why people aren't happy about it, but the hate fuels him and he wants to try and do his own Snape.
I'm sure he can, but it's
and
the way the story, they keep saying they want to stick close to the books, but they can't.
Then you look at this,
bits.
You're looking at this, you're like,
Yeah, I said
especially these days.
They didn't have to change Snape. I can understand you'd want to change Snape because Alan Rickman's so iconic and anybody else is going to be compared to him. So it's a lot easier to distance from the original if you change the character completely. But they're going to have to change everything about the character. And it's a worry that he's not going to get a chance to shine as an actor because they've put him in the wrong role. No, he could have been Gilroy Lockhart. It doesn't matter if he's black or white. That would work. Someone of African descent playing Gilderoy Lockhart would still work.
Yes,
absolutely fine. That would work fine. McGonagall, any other character, but because of the way Snape is written and the things people say about him, it's going to make it about being racist towards him rather than not liking him because of the way he is. And that's taking something away from the actor as well. And I think it's unfair for the actor to be put in a position where he can't make the role his own.
The thing is, I don't think the actor's taking that in much. I think he's just plodding about with it. Like, yes, screw you. All this hate and controversy, it's fuel. Let me show them what I can do.
Which is fine. I just worry about them having to change it. That's my trouble with it, is they're going to change it, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. They don't need to change it.
I was speaking to Ellie about this, how the new Snape is black, and this is what Harry and James Potter was like towards Snape, um, and how the directors and writers and studios like we're going to try and we're not going to try. They have said we're going to stay true to the story.
They can't.
Me and you got told that by Amazon, and look what they've done. They lied, and it's for this. And I said the exact same thing to Ellie because she's excited for this new Harry Potter. I'm like, I'm not going to show you Rings of Power, but I'm going to describe what Rings of Power is. And she doesn't want to watch it after what I described to her. And now she's really put off on her feelings.
The trailer looks quite good. Apart from there's some of it, they've tried to update the language and stuff. And they don't need to do that because it's not based now.
No.
That's the other thing that annoys me. You look at the scene on the train and it's like, have you got the scar? And Ron goes, what's that about? I don't understand why he needs to do that. It makes no sense. It wasn't written like that, I'm pretty sure.
See, when it comes to the modernization of the new Harry Potter series, there's only one thing that I quite enjoy. School. It's like it's going to be quite difficult to go back to original Harry Potter, but try and keep away from the films because they don't want to touch the films. They want to leave the films alone, and that is so respectful. I'm happy that they want to do that because a lot of people don't do that. They like to touch the films a little bit for references and like, well, you've just made this canon to that now, and it makes no sense. But if they stay away from the films and they do their own thing whilst staying unbelievably true, I think the schools is the best way to go about it. Because if we see at the beginning and end of every term of Hogwarts, we get to see the modernization of everyone being brought up in a public school with UK public school, tie, jumper, polo shirt, grey trousers, black trainers or shoes. And I've really liked that in the trailer. But then again, it's modernization. Some things are written away in a specific way for a reason. It's called effect. If you don't keep to that narrative effect, you lose the reader or the watcher. You lose your consumer. You're not adding that layer. You're adding modernization to it. Harry Potter had the no schools in the films. That was perfect because you showed the relationship between the family of Potters, Harry Potter and his cousin, his aunt and uncle. You saw that relationship. That's what we wanted to see. We didn't get all of the relationship in the film because there's a lot that was cut out from the books, but we saw enough. But now in this series, we get to see more of the school side of things. And if we get to see accurate school life from the books to this new series,
well, that's the whole point of doing a series instead of a film, isn't it? So they can fit a lot more. One of my concerns with it is they're going to try and bring it into now rather than when it was set.
I don't think they will. I think they'll.
It worries me because obviously when the original films came out, there wasn't any iPhones or anything. They didn't exist. Now they're everywhere. And tablets and smartwatches.
Because they need to think of the repercussions of technology in the wizarding world. Like if Harry and Ron get caught in Ron's flying car or his dad's flying car, click straight to Facebook.
This is the thing because the original story was based for what 91, I think.
Yeah, early 90s.
Harry Potter book. So it's about 91 to 98.
It was newspapers and articles.
Yeah, there's no internet, there's nothing. So that's the thing that concerns me is they're not going to put it in the right time frame.
No, because the last
the Dursleys, Dudley and everyone, he's going to have tablets and games console, and that's not how it was written. So that's what worries me because it's got to be set in the right time. Will it be?
The thing is with it being set, if it goes being set in today, like I mentioned, with a click and then it goes everywhere, that in theory, that's counteracting the wizarding world, because it's, if you get caught and someone posts it, the wizarding world is open for grabs, and everyone,
Yeah, but if it's set today, it'll be fake news AI.
fake news AI. Yeah, I'll watch it be the plot like that. Oh, all this wizarding stuff is AI. It's fake. You're lucky.
That's what worries me, is they'll try and do stuff like that, and it's not about that, because Harry shouldn't. All of this stuff should be magical. If it's based, it's just, it worries me that they're not gonna try and set it at the right time. I can't remember on the trailer, like looking around London, if the cars are all modern and everything. You know what I mean?
Let's watch the trailer now.
Trailer then.
Let's watch this trailer, and that would be the end of
That would be a good ending, yeah, because we're dragging on a little bit, but this is quite a big topic, really, for one episode, isn't it?
All right, Nathan, I bring to you the cinema room.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
OBS?
It does look like it's set in the right period, looking at the school and stuff.
Yeah,
it is. Look, it is set in the 90s. That's good. At least so far. And letters, not an email. That's good.
a lot sooner than I expected when this came out, you know.
Yeah, Christmas.
Christmas 2026, that's around the corner. I'm just going to say one more thing, so could you, about the trailer, but when it comes to that trailer, I hope they've taken their time when it comes to getting Professor Quill and Voldemort correct. If they get that correct, I think there's going to be hope, and we will see the books
This is the thing.
on screen.
We don't know who Voldemort is.
I know they've kept that quiet on purpose. We don't even know who Professor Quill is, for crying out loud. They're keeping all this quiet for a reason, and the reason is they want to do the books proud, and they are happy with what the film's done, because the film's their own masterpiece that tried doing as much as they can from the books. But if this series does what the fans want and copy and paste the books onto screen,
it'll be massive if they can get it right. But we know what it's like when we see Rings of Power and other pieces of shite, and The Witcher.
Precisely. Wow. But yeah, I generally hope Harry Potter sorts itself out and it becomes a very good thing, because if we see copy and paste and we get to see what Professor Quill is like with Voldemort.
Voldemort on his back, yeah. Professor Quirrell will be an interesting one because the original actor, I thought he played it really well.
God,
So
yeah.
I hope they got somebody that's that versatile, but they do a better job of having Voldemort on the back of his head because that was weird, especially since it wasn't actually Voldemort anyway. So it was a bit strange, wasn't it? But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like The Last of Us, that's a series that I'm actually going to watch.
I still haven't watched Last of Us. I haven't watched any of it.
It's actually not bad.
I've heard that, but I haven't really got a way to watch this because it's on stupid streaming, not on like Netflix
Sky.
and stuff.
It's
So
on Sky.
yeah, which I don't have.
No, fair
Don't
enough.
have Sky because I won't pay for it. Two, I refuse to have a TV license. Don't want that crap. Definitely don't want that crap. One last thing about Harry Potter, at least they are actually calling it the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
Which J.K. Rowling still says was the biggest mistake she made was let them change it to Sorcerer's Stone for America. She hates that because they had to do the movies and then redub bits and all that. Just because they changed the names, they didn't think Americans would understand what Philosopher's Stone is. Well, anyway, we should probably leave it there because, as always, we've dragged on a little bit. So, if you want to find you elsewhere, where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube at The Wash Assassin 998 and on Twitch, The Wash Assassin 9982480.
And you can find me on YouTube under Wasn't My Fault or WMF Reacts, and sometimes on Twitch under Nukami. So, thanks a lot for joining us. Join us again soon. Till then, bye bye for now.
Bye.